Why we going through what we going through? So my brother just stepped over, he got a question. He want to know, why are the so-called black people of this world going through what we're going through? That's a good question. That's a good question. Deuteronomy chapter 28. Watch this. That's easily explained. Hey, my brother, but tell me this. Have you ever been able to ask a question like that in the church? Never, right? You have never been able to ask your pastor, why are black people going through what they're going through? Never been able to do it. But we about to bring you the truth of why we, as so-called blacks, are going through it. Watch this.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
You know who Moses was talking to right here? Have you been to church? Okay. So you know Moses is an Israelite, right? He was talking to a specific group of people right here. He wasn't talking to everybody on the face of the earth. Okay? Watch this. Deuteronomy 1:1.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 1 and verse 1. These be the words which Moses spake unto all Israel on this side Jordan in the wilderness.
So Moses spoke these words to the Israelites. Okay? Not anybody else. So that's his audience.
That's right.
Go back to 28. Read that again.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So Moses told the Israelites, it shall come upon you, all these curses, if you don't do what God said do. Okay? Now let's go over, if you keep going.
Cursed shalt thou be in the city.
He said, cursed shall you Israelites be in the city. Now what we're going to do is, what I'm doing is showing you why we going through what we're going through. Because in the cities that we dwell in, we cursed as a people. Right? God said through Moses, you're going to be cursed in the city. In our neighborhoods. You from Memphis? Orange Mound. North Memphis. South Memphis. All of these places are those prosperous places. Can you say those places, those neighborhoods are prosperous? They're not, right? So when you go to that neighborhood, you see a lot of drug dealing. Why? Because our people need money. So we're looking to get some money some type of way, right? It shows us that there's not prosperity there. No prosperity is in our hoods. Every now and then you will have somebody come out and do something good. Maybe go to the NBA, maybe go to the NFL. Other than that, you're not getting too many people out the hood who become great. Who people can look at and say, hey, that's a good example. There's no prosperity. He said you should be cursed in the city. Look at our street corners. That's the streets in our neighborhood. They riddled with trash. Riddled with cigarette butts, cans, bottles, everywhere in our neighborhoods. But then look, you come out here and how the streets look. You go out here to Germantown, how the streets look. Why? Because they got a street sweeper come around and clean that thing up. Why don't they do that in our neighborhoods? They don't do it. Why? Because this why. What he just read. He said you shall be cursed and these curses shall follow you. He said you'll be cursed in the city. That's a curse. Ain't nothing but filth in our neighborhoods. You walk out on our streets and it's filth. If it's not right there where you staying at, then it's right down the street or it's around the corner. That's filth. That's a curse. Right? Keep reading.
Cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field.
He said also you will be cursed in the fields. Right? Let's think of one field. That's the work field. Let's think about that. Ain't it our people that get the short end of the stick? We don't want to pull that short straw, right? When it comes to the work field. right? We can be very good and be on the job for years, and let a white boy come along, or let an Arab man come along in their company, who don't know as much as you. He can get a superintendent position. He'll be over you. That's a curse. We the ones better. We the ones, matter of fact, gave them these ideas of these companies most of the time. But we're not exalted. We're not giving the money of our just due. We're not giving that. It said, "Curse shall you be in the field." Who was in the fields in these cities? Who was in the fields in America? Who was there? We were. The Bible is a true book. The Bible is our book.
That's right.
Okay? It said we'll be cursed in the fields. That was us. Those are our ancestors picking cotton. Those are our ancestors. We didn't reap the benefits of that. Right now they got King Cotton. It should be a so-called black man who owns that company, who owns that name. We King Cotton, right? No. Not according to them. No. We were just enslaved to do the work for them, right? That's a curse. That's a curse. We should, matter of fact, we should own this land.
That's right.
We slaves, sweat, blood, and tears to build these streets, the railroads, the buildings. We built the White House.
That's right.
Why we ain't in it?
Wall Street.
Wall Street, remember that? That's a curse. The scripture said we be cursed in the field.
Bring it out.
Read on.
Verse 17, cursed shall be thy basket and thy store.
The Bible said, curse shall be your basket and your store. What do you put in the basket? Everything pretty much. Goods, things that you're going to need for the travel, right? You go to a store. You ride around with a basket. You walk around with a basket. And you put things in it that you need, right? So tell me, it said, curse shall be thy basket. This is how our basket is cursed. Every black family in the hood, more than likely, are on food stamps.
Bring it out.
How is it that our people get hundreds of dollars in stamps and can't keep the refrigerator full? That's crazy. That's crazy. Now, we know some of the other people out here are on food stamps. When I say some of the other people, white people, some of them are on stamps too. But they can keep their refrigerator full. We get 700s and 800s and thousands of dollars in stamps. I know people myself, and can't keep the refrigerator full a whole 30 days. Your basket cursed. Meaning the goods that you put in it, it's like it's dropping out the back end. Read.
Cursed shall be thy basket and thy store.
And our stores. What neighborhood you from? Orange Mound, right? You remember Miss Louise's store? Where her store is now? No. And if you go by there and look at their store, they're sitting right across the street from Spotswood Park, Brentwood Park. What you see? Nothing. That building is dilapidated, right? It used to be a washerette attached to it. It's caved in. It said, curse shall be your stores. While the black stores that was in the neighborhood, they gone. The scripture's talking about the children of Israel, not black people. Your nationality is from these 12 tribes right here. That's who you are, my brother. So when Moses was talking to them, he was talking to your ancestors. He was saying, you're going to be cursed in the city and cursed in the fields. Your basket's going to be cursed. Your store's going to be cursed. These things happen to us. Nobody else on the face of the earth. These things happen to us. Give me verse 32.
Verse 32. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people.
Hold on, because you said you from Orange Mountain. You remember Jew store? Jew? Now his store is on pause, right? What happened there? His story lasted. His story lasted from being a little boy to now you're a grown man, and his story done moved and advanced over to Park Avenue. Why couldn't Miss Louise do that? What about the other black store down that was right down Corns? Why couldn't they do that? Cause the Most High God said we disobey him. This is what's gonna happen.
That's right.
And we see the fruit of that. We see the fruit of it actually happening. You see exactly what I seen in Orange Mountain. Okay? Read on.
Verse 32.
Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people.
So it says, you Israelites, your sons and your daughters will be given into another people. Right? Whose sons and daughters did that happen to? Mostly black. They came in with 2-3 men on a horse, right? Gave some money for a child right out of the mother's hand, right out of her arms, right? They even put us up on auction blocks. You see that? Give me that in Joel 3. They even put us up on auction blocks and say 30, 40, 50 sold to Master Charles in West Virginia. That happened to us. We got that history right there. What other people went through that?
Hallelujah.
Mexicans. Exactly. Look at this sign over here. Look at this sign. The Mexicans on that sign. They are the 12 tribes. A brother, we gave a flyer to earlier and said, no, it ain't the Mexicans though. Oh yes, it's most definitely them. They are of the 12 tribes.
That's right.
Those are the children of Israel right there. They also enslaved in the poppy fields, in the rice fields, in the bean fields. Those that happened to them too. Their kids were also sold. They were raped, robbed, and murdered. These curses also happened to them. Give me verse 46. Did you finish with the scripture? Go ahead.
The book of Joel, chapter 3 and verse 3. And they have cast lots for my people.
They did what?
They have cast lots for my people.
That's what that means. They cast lots. They put us on a block, and they what do you call it? They auctioned us off. They auctioned us off. They auctioned us off. That's exactly what they did. So that's what casting lots is. Okay, read.
And have given a boy for an harlot.
And they did what? They sold the boys for sexual slaves. Right? That's what they did. You ever heard of butt breaking? Butt breaking. Look it up. Look it up. It's gonna shock you. It's gonna shock you. They took
Or mother, you heard of that term we all use, the mother F.
effer.
Where did you get that term from?
That term comes from, do you know? That term comes from, they would have a buck boy, right? And a mother who has had children. And now they want to keep producing of this seed right here. Because those some good little slaves right there. So they'll put a bag over her head and a bag over his head. And they'll have him have sex with his mother to produce more slaves. And they start calling them mother effers. That's where that word come from. Mother effer. That's where that word originate from. We would call mother effers. Right? So what I got you? Finish that.
And they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for an harlot.
So they sold the boys for harlots, for sex slaves. They did that, read.
And sold a girl for a wine.
They sold the girls also. They traded wine and other goods for the girls, for sexual slaves. Read.
And sold the girl for wine that they might drink.
So we went through these curses. Nobody else went through these curses. We are the children of Israel. That's what I'm trying to show you. Watch this. Give me verse 68.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 68.
And it's still Moses going over the curses with the children of Israel. Read.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
So he said, I'm going to give you that Exodus 20. So he said, I'm going to bring you into Egypt again. Remember, they just came out of Egypt by the way of the Red Sea. Remember, the Red Sea split open and they walked through on dry land? On the other side, this is what he told them. He said, you'll go into Egypt again. They just came from Egypt. But when you read the Bible, they never went back to Egypt as a whole. But as a whole, he's telling them you will go back to Egypt. Egypt means something. Egypt is synonymous. I'm going to ask you, what were they in Egypt? What were the children of Israel? They were slaves. They went into slavery in Egypt. They were bondmen and bondwomen in Egypt. Okay, read what you got.
The book of Exodus, chapter 20 and verse 2. I am the Lord thy God, which I brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage.
So he said, I brought you out of Egypt, where?
Out of the house of bondage.
Out of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. So that's what the children of Israel knew about Egypt. They knew they were in bondage there. So when Moses told them this, read.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
So when he told them, I would bring you into Egypt again, it meant bondage again. Read.
With ships.
With ships. With ships. He said, you will go back into bondage, slavery, by way of what?
With ships.
With ships. Who that happened to? Who went into slavery on slave ships? What nation of people? Who? Black people. Who you would call black people. We went into slavery on ships. Right here. There it is. And that's how they had us, like sardines in there, on top of each other. They go diagram of the ships they had. See that? It was us that went through that. We are who? What are we? Of the signs that we showing you, of the curses of the signs that we showing you, who is the Bible saying we are? Because I don't want to be doing a whole lot of talking and you're not picking up what I'm putting down. So what, according to the Bible, what is who is the Bible describing? Who is the Bible describing of who you know today? Exactly. I just want to hear you say it. Now, I don't want to be just running and then you missing something. You know, it's describing us, right? So, we as being the children of Israel, we are in a low condition, because that was the question. We're in a low condition because we broke God's commandments. And we can come out of that, give me 1 Kings chapter 8. We can come out of that by reversing what we did to get here. Okay? Message to the people who listening in their cars. We are of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. We are the Israelites. You're not blacks, you're not Hispanics, you're not Native Americans. You are Israel. The Israelites, God's chosen people, my sister. That's who we are.
We used to scream black power while Heron was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission. Minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road, purple and gold, from Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.